The tempo of the game was set from the start. Dallas's reverse on the opening kickoff surprised Pittsburgh, and only Roy Gerella kept Tom Henderson from going all the way. But the little kicker paid a big price. He suffered badly bruised ribs that would affect his performance all day. Dallas's flim-flammery had given them the ball in Steeler territory, and already everyone sensed this Super Bowl would break the mold. On the first play from scrimmage, L.C. Greenwood stripped Roger Staubach of the ball. Center John Fitzgerald was on the spot, but the Cowboys were forced to punt. Dallas soon got a second, even better chance when Pittsburgh punter Bobby Walden dropped the ball, and the Dallas special teams swarmed quickly in on their prey. This scene was etched indelibly on the mind of Chuck Noll, for Pittsburgh's poor kicking game was something that would haunt him all afternoon. On the very next play from the Pittsburgh 29, the Cowboys' multiple movement created confusion in the Steeler defense. Staubach's play fake and Dallas's decoys cleared the middle. Drew Pearson filled the void, gathered in a perfect pass from Jolly Roger, and was free. The Steelers were stunned. It was the only touchdown they permitted in the first quarter of the entire season, a total of 17 games. The Cowboys had made it look easy. But led by Terry Bradshaw, the Steelers came roaring back. Lynn Swann's kangaroo catch put Pittsburgh in close. Then Bradshaw crossed up the Cowboy computer with play 333, an unusual three tight end formation that the Dallas defense knew Pittsburgh always ran from. When number 72, Jerry Mullins, went in motion as the third tight end, the Cowboys defense followed him toward the middle. But Bradshaw rolled right and hit a wide open Randy Grossman for the touchdown that tied the game. Each team had fooled the other for a score, but Dallas had another surprise in store that frustrated Pittsburgh's defense. Their running game didn't figure to dent the steel curtain, but now using traps and draws, the Cowboys' no-name offensive backs drove downfield. They amassed 42 yards, nearly 3 times as much in one series as the Minnesota Vikings gained on the ground for all of Super Bowl IX. Finally, the Dallas running stalled, and forced to pass on 3rd and long, Roger Staubach had a close brush with disaster. Glenn Edwards' near miss of a coast-to-coast interception gave Dallas another chance, this time for 3 points on Tony Frisch's field goal. Dallas had moved the ball against proud Pittsburgh on 2 consecutive series and now led the Steelers 10.
Wednesday, see the team that scores the most three-pointers per game. Providence takes aim at Georgetown in a Big East shootout. Then, the Louisville Cardinals look. 1980, Purdue's Joe Barry Carroll, UCLA's Kiki Vandeweghe, Darryl Griffith, and more. Wednesday night on ESPN.
At the start of the second quarter, Pittsburgh stormed back through the air. John Stallworth failed to hold onto a catch Dallas thought they had recovered, but the pass was ruled complete. An uncharacteristically emotional Tom Landry needn't have worried, however, for when Pittsburgh gambled to go for a 4th and 2 from the Dallas 36, All-Pro safety Cliff Harris stepped to the fore. The team's leading hitman, Harris taunted Pittsburgh all day. His intimidation tactics paid off when Franco Harris, of all people, took his eyes off a perfect pass. For the doomsday defense and pugnacious Cliff Harris, stopping Franco was the key to Super Bowl X. And they stopped him nearly every time he touched the ball. Franco Harris has the unique ability to cut back against the grain, leaving opponents flailing at air. But today, Pittsburgh's big gun was fired 27 times for only 82 yards. Harris never got outside all day. But while Doomsday erected a tombstone for Franco, they completely missed the target in Terry Bradshaw and the Pittsburgh passing attack. Error-free and seemingly with hours of pocket time, the rifle-armed Steeler quarterback exploited the Cowboys through the air. Lynn Swann's levitating leap was one of the great catches in football history. Though Swann, who would later be named the game's most valuable player, literally rose to the occasion on the 53-yard pass, Pittsburgh moved no further and looked to Roy Gerela to put the points on the scoreboard that would tie the game. It was the first of 3 kicks Gerela would miss on the day, but the modest 10-7 score in no way reflected the furious action crammed into the first half of Super Bowl X.
6600. Keep it in pages $14.99 plus shipping and handling. When you purchase Gettysburg, you'll receive the Civil War Almanac free. So call now. 1-800-241-6600. That's 1-800-241-6600.
In the third quarter, another Gerela miss was vital to the outcome of the game. Cliff Harris celebrated the kicker's misfortunes with glee, but number 58, Jack Lambert, quickly came to the rescue. Though Gerela's nemesis was spirited away from danger, the damage was done. Lambert, who many feel stands as the successor to Dick Butkus as the most fearsome defensive player in football, later said, "No one can be allowed to intimidate us. We're supposed to be the intimidators." Lambert used the incident to psych himself to an even higher level of rage. With Joe Green injured, Jack Lambert became the new symbol of Steeler muscle, sifting and rooting through blockers until he found the ball carrier. And Jack Lambert found them 14 times in Super Bowl X. Harris's harmless heckling and Lambert's inspired reaction to it became a turning point for the Steel Curtain defense, and the Dallas Cowboys paid the price. A defensive target was center John Fitzgerald, the trigger on the Dallas shotgun. In an alignment that had both tackles helmet to helmet with him, Pittsburgh made the long, blind center snap even harder to execute. But the biggest factor on defense was blanket coverage by the Steelers secondary. The shotgun was designed to give Staubach extra time and improved sight lines to his receivers, but they seldom came open, and the Pittsburgh front four frolicked in. In the second half, the Pittsburgh defense jammed the shotgun and reduced it to a squirt, setting a Super Bowl record 7 sacks as a Niagara of gold and black poured down on Roger Staubach. Pittsburgh's steel curtain had physically taken control of the game. But despite their mastery on the field, what takes place on the sidelines is of equal import to a well-coordinated defense.
They've been running that P13 IC. They've been I in Fat C. It was pass protection I in the I formation. Screw the pass. It's play, pass, or run, so the hell with the pass. You get pass for a pass influence with an I, play the run. Because they got him to rush upfield, and that's when they've been running that delayed P13. That's what they Yeah. And the other thing is they ran a ride 35 and they cut all the way behind you. You can't help with that. That's got to be Lambert and that's got to be LC. When he sees that, he's got to close it. If you start screwing with that, they're going to go up inside of you. Hey, LC, they cut all the way behind our tackle. Did your guy I don't know what kind of block he used, but they got inside of you. And when you're in a two gap, he tries to jump inside.
Yeah. He just hauled me down. I was two gap when I went into one, he just rolled
Drive
down.
that all the way back, because they have no thought of going outside on that. It's all cut back. We got out of that series, we got a lot learned there with 3 points. We ought to be all right.
Despite Pittsburgh's defensive dominance, the game was still 10-7 and belonged to Dallas. Then at the start of the final period, Dallas was forced to punt near its end zone. Chuck Noll called for an uncommon all-out rush with 10 men poised at the line ready to charge the punter. Mitch Hupps never knew what hit him. Reggie Harrison's kamikaze charge blocked the ball and sent it out of the end zone for a safety. As so often happens in pro football, a pivotal play was made by the special teams. Pittsburgh now trailed Dallas by a single point. The safety meant more than 2 points, for with a free kick coming, Pittsburgh would have good field position and the opportunity to score again. Indeed, the kick was taken by Mike Collier, and the rookie returned it inside Dallas territory. With their backs to the wall, the Doomsday defense played tough, and Pittsburgh came up short of a first down. The Steelers' fate was once more riding on the foot of Roy Girella, whose aching ribs and bruised psyche did not engender much confidence at this juncture of the game. But the kick was true, and Girella made certain his nemesis, Cliff Harris, was aware of it. More importantly, the Pittsburgh Steelers had taken the lead for the first time in Super Bowl X. After the field goal, a great individual effort by safety Mike Wagner, number 23, stunned Dallas. On the same play that earlier had worked for a touchdown, Wagner had gambled and won. The Steelers safeties were supposed to kick out, go deep, which would allow Drew Pearson to cut across the middle alone, as he did on his first period touchdown. It's been our bread and butter play all season, Roger Staubach said later. It was the first time it didn't work. Wagner's great play put Pittsburgh deep. But on 3rd and goal, with the Dallas defense backed up on their own 1-yard line, the Steelers were stopped short of a touchdown again. Franco Harris recovered his own fumble, but Pittsburgh had missed a golden opportunity to put the game away. Roy Girella was called upon for a chip shot, and his kick was good. But Dallas was only 5 points behind, with plenty of time left in Super Bowl X. All day, Mark Washington had been a target for the Pittsburgh air attack. Now on 3rd and 4, Bradshaw read a blitz that would leave the cornerback exposed in single coverage with Lynn Swann. The result is Super Bowl history. The 64-yard touchdown pass had seemingly put the game out of reach. But while the graceful Swan was celebrating at one end of the field, Terry Bradshaw had been knocked senseless at the other. On the touchdown play, Tom Landry, trying to change the course of the game, had called an all-out blitz. D.D. Lewis, number 50, was the first man in but missed. And then with two more Cowboys bearing down, Bradshaw stood his ground and let fly. Accounts of the game report Cliff Harris hit Bradshaw, but it was number 63, tackle Larry Cole, who leveled him. One look at Cole and D.D. Lewis tells all you need to know about the results of the play. Terry Bradshaw left the field with a concussion, but he left a hero. Under his leadership, Pittsburgh had 4 scores in the space of 8 minutes, and ahead now by 11 points with only 3 minutes left. The Steelers appeared to have Super Bowl X salted away. But if Pittsburgh thought the issue was settled, Dallas didn't. With the clock running, the Cowboys came winging downfield on the arm of Roger Staubach. Staubach is a former naval officer who never gives up the ship. Against impossible odds, he took his team 80 yards on 4 passes to the touchdown that brought Dallas to within 4 points of the Steelers. Every one of the 80 million plus who watched this game knew what was coming next. Number 72, tackle Jerry Mullins, successfully fielded the onside kick, and the Pittsburgh offense, now led by Terry Hanratty, tried to run out the clock. Pittsburgh gained only a single yard in 3 tries. Now, with 1:28 showing, the Steelers were faced with 4th and 9. Here, Chuck Noll made a controversial decision. Everyone expected Pittsburgh to punt, but knowing Dallas had already used up their timeouts, Noll disdained the punt and ran the ball again. Needing 9 yards, it wasn't even close, and Dallas had another chance to score. No one, not even Noll's own players, understood his decision, but it was born from Pittsburgh's punting problems. Walden had dropped 1 punt and nearly had 2 others blocked earlier in the game. Noll had no confidence in his kicking game, and rather than risk the punt, left the issue up to his great defense. It came down to Roger Staubach versus the Steel Curtain defense for one final round. Visions of the Minnesota Miracle flashed through the minds of Dallas fans everywhere. Staubach threw short to former Steeler Preston Pearson, who inexplicably turned toward the middle rather than get out of bounds to stop the clock. Now into Pittsburgh real estate, disaster nearly occurred. Seconds left, and the cool courage of Staubach contrasted with a frantic finish, but the quarterback was throwing against a stacked deck. Three seconds left. Time for one last play in the Super Bowl X. One last chance for the Cowboys to complete their impossible dream. With Glenn Edwards' interception, Pittsburgh's victory was secure. From the opening kickoff to the final gun, Super Bowl X had more fireworks than any bicentennial celebration could possibly match. Chuck Noll joined Don Shula and Vince Lombardi as the only coaches to win the Super Bowl twice. The Pittsburgh Steelers now ranked with Green Bay and Miami as one of the great teams in pro football history. The Dallas dream fell just 4 points short. But as Mel Renfro said, we have no regrets. We played as well as we possibly could. For the Steelers who won and the Cowboys who almost did, both be proud to be part of the greatest Super Bowl ever played. The Raiders surrounded and terrorized Tarkington's receivers. Oakland eliminated Tarkington's targets, narrowed his field of fire. It finally proved the undoing of everything he had hoped to accomplish.
To pass on third, the rush by Hendricks, peels him out of there to the left. He's backpedaling and throwing, intercepted by Willie Hall at the 30, back to the 40, runs into traffic. Raider football, he's brought down at the 46-yard line.
The Raiders now had a choice of two plans, hopeless quest for a goal they knew they would never reach.
Super Bowl championship.
Francis back to pass. Throw the sideliner. Picture! It's going to be a touchdown! Willie Brown! 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. All man Willie. He's going all the way!
Treated to the kind of football that has become a trademark of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right down their throat. Come on, Terry.
Bradshaw, the quarterback for the Steelers. Bradshaw hesitates and then throws deep for Stallworth in the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Johnny Stallworth caught it between two Dallas Cowboys, and the Steelers are on the board first. How about that?
Terry Bradshaw is a country boy, and perhaps his touchdown pass to John Stallworth was inspired by the country proverb, which advises, when you're invited to the biggest party of the year, you dance with who brung you. Bradshaw had gotten to the Super Bowl by passing, so it never occurred to him to play cautiously and establish his running game first. His pass caught Dallas unprepared and gave Pittsburgh a 7-0 lead. Pittsburgh's defense was just as bold as its offense. They blitzed their linebackers, often surprising Roger Staubach with a 5- or 6-man pass rush. Late in the first quarter, on a third down, they moved 8 men up to the scrimmage line. With all their manpower in the pass rush, the Steelers sacrificed themselves in the secondary. And once Tony Hill gathered in Staubach's quick pass, he scored easily. The 8-man rush had forced the Steelers to cover the dangerous Dallas receivers man for man. Another look at the play reveals that Mel Blount, number 47, was so intent on guarding Drew Pearson, he never reacted to Hill's reception. But perhaps the most remarkable part of this touchdown play was Roger Staubach's quick and accurate pass under extreme pressure.
Direct snap to Staubach. He barely gets it away. It is caught at the 25. Here goes Coney. He'll have the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Cowboys!
That is twice the Steelers have threatened and given the maximum blitz on 3rd down and long. And that, I think, might be the kind of a spark that will get the Cowboys going as we move toward the second quarter.
The second quarter began like the first, with Bradshaw throwing. Only now his mighty arm seemed ineffective as the Cowboy defense anticipated his every move. The Superman of the Steelers became a bumbling Clark Kent, an easy pushover for the big bullies from Dallas.
There's a delayed blitz, and Bradshaw fumbles the ball, picks it up, rolls out. Caught and dropped by Thomas Hollywood. It's picked up now by Hickman. By Hickman. He's to the 15, the 10, the 5, and in for a touchdown if it all stands. Dallas moves out to a 14-7 lead. Bradshaw has had 2 fumbles and 1 interception.
And he, at times, has not thrown the football well. He started off pretty well, directing that 56-yard touchdown drive, but he's since been ragged.
The play that gave Dallas a 14-7 lead began as a rollout pass. But when Bradshaw collided with Franco Harris, the ball popped loose. While Bradshaw retrieved his fumble, Thomas Henderson and Mike Hegman stalked him like 2 burglars. One held him, the other robbed him. Hegman's touchdown was a bitter pill for the Steelers to swallow, but it was just the tonic they needed. When they regained the ball, John Stallworth turned a routine sideline pass into a marathon 75-yard touchdown run that tied the game. Stallworth's run tied the record for the longest scoring play in Super Bowl history. Stallworth is from Alabama, and down there, the locals say that he's like a blend of sipping whiskey and white lightning. Smooth, with a good, strong finishing kick. With 5 minutes left in the first half, Super Bowl 13 had turned into a circus of big plays.
Monday, a big night of basketball on ESPN. Pittsburgh faces Syracuse Orange man Ronnie Cycli in one of the best inside games in the Big East. Then, Michigan State makes a run at Northwestern in the Big Ten game of the week. Big Monday starts live at 7 Eastern here on ESPN. Two heavy-hitting lightweights collide when Cubanito Perez meets Charlie Choo-Choo Brown. Friday night on ESPN's live top-ranked boxing.
In 1978, the Pittsburgh Steelers had the best record in the NFL. They are a mature, physically powerful squad with a special confidence that allows them to reach for heroism instead of merely trying to avoid mistakes. With 2 minutes left in the half, Bradshaw boldly blended the varied talents of his teammates. Like a skilled conductor, he directed them in a classic 2-minute drill. At the Dallas 7-yard line with 33 seconds left in the half, Bradshaw called a pass-run option play. Pursued by the Cowboys and with no room to run, he finally spotted Rocky Bleier in the end zone.
What a heck of a catch that was by Rocky Bleier, huh?
Would you have expected Rocky Bleier to turn into Nijinsky?
It was Nijinsky.
Oh, then Nijinsky was a great ballet dancer.
Well, Cowboys trail by 7 again.
When the second half began, the Dallas offense struck quickly to get back what its defense had so grudgingly given away in the closing seconds of the first half. Dallas drove to the Pittsburgh 10-yard line late in the third quarter.
Come on, D, now's the time.
It seemed certain they would score the touchdown that would turn Super Bowl 13 into a tie game again.
It's 3rd down and 3, Dallas at the Pittsburgh 10. Roger back to throw, has a man open in the end zone, caught, touchdown, dropped in the end zone. Jackie Smith all by himself. Oh, bless his heart, he's got to be the sickest man in America. Oh, Jackie was so wide open in the end zone, it was incredible. And he could not hang on to the ball.
A catch by Smith would have tied the score. Instead, Dallas had to settle for a field goal and trailed Pittsburgh by 4 points at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, another pass that wasn't caught did even more damage to the Cowboys. This one was intended for Lynn Swann of the Steelers. An interference penalty against number 31, Benny Barnes, turned this incomplete pass into a 33-yard gain for Pittsburgh. Bradshaw's pass to Swan was a reckless throw that was up for grabs the moment it floated into the secondary. When Barnes tripped, Swan stumbled over it. What hurt the Cowboys just as much as the penalty was the manner in which Pittsburgh easily converted their good fortune into a crucial touchdown.
Giving the ball to Franco through the middle, then over the 15 to 10 to 5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. They opened it up down the middle, and the big guy went straight ahead through the hole. He knocked them loose in every direction, and the Steelers go on the board with it.
Franco Harris's touchdown was an alert decision by Terry Bradshaw. He called the play at the scrimmage line when he noticed an opening through the center of the Dallas defense. Charlie Waters, number 41, tried to close the hole, but he collided with an official. And Harris had an open road to the end zone. While the Steelers celebrated their 11-point lead, another touch of misfortune awaited the rankled Cowboys. On the ensuing kickoff, Roy Gerela slipped, and his kick bounced directly to defensive tackle Randy White. A cast on White's fractured thumb prevented him from getting a grip on the ball, and it squirted loose before he was hit.
Fumble! Ball loose! Still fighting for it at the 21. It is Pittsburgh's ball. Holy mackerel! Here we go! Bradshaw's back. And he's going to Swan, and Swan makes a circus catch in the end zone. Unbelievable catch for the touchdown. He was up in the air and made a circus catch. He looked like a flying circus, and the Southern Cal Flyer pulled it in. Holy smokes, 18 yards, and they strike again.
Swan's catch was Bradshaw's 4th touchdown pass of the day. It put Pittsburgh ahead 35-17.
Special arrangement with Reader's Digest.
100. Or send only $19.98 to 100 Music Treasures. Box 3817, Grand Central Station, New York, New York, 10163. Specify whether 3 records, 3 cassettes, or 3 8-tracks. Write it down. Or call now 1-800-792-1200.
With only 6 minutes to play, Dallas trailed by 18 points. There were tears in the eyes of Texas, but seldom was heard a discouraging word by the Cowboys themselves.
Get it again, Dennis! It ain't no blitz. It ain't no blitz. There he is, Tony.
In 1963, Roger Staubach's legs won him the Heisman Trophy at the Naval Academy. Now, 15 years later, they served him well again. Staubach and Tony Dorsett, number 33, gained most of the yardage in a furious 8-play, 90-yard drive. Staubach passed to Billy Joe Dupree for a touchdown that cut the Steelers' lead to 11 points.
And now here comes the onside kick. It comes to the left side, and the Steelers drop it, and the Cowboys recover. Dallas has the football at the 49-yard line. Dennis Thurman picked it up, and the Cowboys may still be alive.
With only 2 minutes to play, Dallas needed 2 touchdowns to win. As they drove down the field again, it was an appropriate occasion to summon up the old cliches which salute gallant losers who play on for pride and self-respect when all hope for victory has vanished. But no, this was a team that truly believed it still could win.
Staubach takes the ball, and now he's looking, pumps, throws, open man, touchdown. Score is 35-31 in Super Bowl 13.
Again, Dallas broke through Pittsburgh's defense. But now they were caught in the deadly squeeze of the clock.
22 seconds on the clock.
The Cowboys' remote chance for victory disappeared into the arms of Rocky Bleier.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have become the first team in the history of the National Football League to win 3 world championships.
The Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Dallas Cowboys in a Super Bowl that was everything a championship game is supposed to be. Perhaps Frank O'Hara said it best. This was the greatest game I ever played in.
I want every living, breathing person.
The Steelers and the Rams arrived at this championship game from opposite directions. In the 14-year history of a Super Bowl, never have 2 teams been so different. The Steelers were the defending champions. They had the best record in the NFL and came to Pasadena supported by the loudest, most loyal fans in all of football. The Rams, on the other hand, had the worst record of any team ever to play in a Super Bowl. And unlike the Steelers, they looked at their fans with cynicism and indifference. For these were the same people who had booed and insulted them at mid-season when they were hurt and in second place. The Rams came to the Super Bowl with a grim resolve to erase their reputation as a team with no heart and to bury forever their infamous legacy of choking in championship games.
Give the pitch to Tyler, holds that ball like a loaf of bread, turns the corner to 20 to 25.
Come get it. Come get it. That's it. Come on, Wendell. Come on, Wendell. That play's going to break. That play's there. 46F will be there. Dwight White is way down in the game. We blew him out on that, but boy, I'll tell you, 46F is hell of a. All right. 46F, boy, he's a whole mile wide.
Hands it off to Wendell Tyler, looking for an opening across the 50, the 45-yard line, the 40. Look out! Far sideline, 35, the 30. Missed by a tackler, the 20, the 15, and down the 14-yard line. Come on, let's go!
Wendell Tyler's 39-yard gain early in the first quarter was the longest run permitted by Pittsburgh all year, and it's worth another look. Although he didn't become a starter until the 5th week of the season, Tyler finished the year as the Rams' leading rusher. And this weaving trip through the Steelers set up the first touchdown of Super Bowl 14. Cullen Bryant piled into the end zone and gave Los Angeles a 7-3 lead.
And right now, the Rams are winning the battle of the line of scrimmage. They're getting off the ball, and they're beating the Steelers' defensive line.
It's going to be a long day today, boys.
Almost looking from the shadows, booms the ball, a line drive, maybe a chance for a return as Anderson gathers it in at the 2. He's back to 10, to 15, to 20, to 25. Look out the near sideline, the 30, the 35, the 40 down the near sideline. Caught from behind by Joe Harris and swung out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
And the Steelers got to go to work.
For the last several years, it has sometimes seemed that there is one league for the Pittsburgh Steelers and another for the rest of those who play pro football. For hidden beneath Pittsburgh's smooth and flawless execution is the pounding pulse of brute power. Defense as well as offense, the Steelers breed the conviction in the opposing team that it must play an almost superhuman level of football to have any chance to succeed. The Rams gave ground grudgingly and kept Pittsburgh out of the end zone until early in the second period.
1-yard line, just inside the 1.
Here it is, the irresistible force and the immovable defense. Pitch the ball to Franco, and he's running wide right, and he goes in for a Pittsburgh touchdown. Blyer was his blocker. He came outside Rocky. There was nobody there.
Now they made it look easy.
Come on, boys, let's go, you jerk.
The Steelers were still the same tough Steelers, but they would soon discover that their opponents were definitely not the same old Rams. Throughout the year, the Rams were a running team, often inflexible, always conservative. But today, when their running game faltered, they threw caution to the winds and decided to gamble on the raw passing skills of a young substitute quarterback named Vince Ferragamo. Pat Hayden, the Rams' regular quarterback, was injured and watched the game from the coach's booth, hoping that his young replacement would not crack under Pittsburgh's pressure. Ferragamo faced the famous charge of the steel curtain with poise and resilience. Although he was sacked several times, his consistently accurate passing enabled the Rams to control the ball for the rest of the first half. Twice Ferragamo moved the Rams into scoring position only to have potential touchdown passes bounce off the fingertips of his intended receiver. Some of the points, which had slipped through the Rams' fingers, were retrieved by the toe of Frank Corral, whose 2 field goals gave Los Angeles a 3-point lead.
Ferragamo the other day said, I know we're going to win. He said, I won't give you the score, but I know we're going to win. And I was sitting 6 inches from him when he said it, so he said it, a Joe Namath-type statement.
The Rams had not only the lead, but a new image as well. A once drab and lifeless offense had taken on a new luster. At the end of the first half, nothing seemed right for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Players that are usually lively and lighthearted were guarded and somber. And the coach, Chuck Noll, who is usually grim and intense, was loose and full of fun.
And I had talked to Art Rooney the other day, and he said, I don't have a feeling about this game. I can't get a feeling. And whenever I haven't had a feeling, our Steelers have been beaten. Well, right on the trailing end of a 13-10 score, they got to buckle down.
Mervis Motors, Shady Side. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
It lurks in homes like this, striking fear in the hearts of millions. And this year, if you're not careful, you might come face to face with it yourself. The wrong paint. Next time, get the right paint. One that always goes on smoothly in one coat. Glidden Spread Wall. On sale now for only $5.99. Glidden. Your paint should be this good.
Ooh, Walter. You've got energy from 100% whole wheat. Wheaties energy. Vertullo's all I good whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
The Continental Basketball Association's Best Players Plus, the halftime $1 million shot, the CBA All-Star Game, Saturday on ESPN.
Terry Bradshaw began the second half with the same curiously conservative approach he had used in the first half, nibbling at the Ram defense with short, safe passes to his running backs. But then, like a pool hall hustler who has been trifling with his victim too long, Bradshaw suddenly showed his game.
He looks downfield, has time, cracks it, going long for Swan. He's got it. Swan, touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Bradshaw's pass to Lynn Swan was a concise resume of the Steeler attack, daring and explosive, able to score from anywhere at any time. The Rams had 2 defensive backs covering Swan and a linebacker blitzing Bradshaw, and still they could not damage the throw or prevent the catch.
Swan takes it for for the touchdown. A perfect strike by Terry Bradshaw. I love it.
Bradshaw, on his first attempt of the long bomb in this game, has hit one for the TD.
Well, what do you think about that? The Steelers move ahead, 17-13.
Surely this stunning blow, one that has become a Steeler trademark the last 2 seasons, would finally brush off the pesky Rams. It did not. Ferragamo took a page from Bradshaw's Go for Broke book and hit Billy Waddy for a 50-yard gain. Before the Steelers could recover, the Rams struck again.
Ball goes to McCutcheon, option pass, he throws downfield, leaping dog, touchdown, Ron Smith! Back and forth we go, the Rams back out in front by a score of 19-17, and we've not seen that play all year long.
Maybe it was the fact that nobody gave them much of a chance, and therefore there wasn't much to lose. Maybe it was simply the realization by the Rams coaches that their team had to open up on offense to win.
Great play.
Whatever the reason, these new remodeled Rams had come from behind for the 3rd time in this Super Bowl to take the lead. Frank Corral missed the extra point, but the Rams' touchdown had revealed another facet of their expansive new offense, and with it, a 2-point advantage. While the Rams' offense expanded, its defense contracted and tightened up. They clogged up Pittsburgh's inside running lanes, and since neither Franco Harris, number 32, nor Rocky Bleier, number 20, has the flat-out speed to run wide, the Steelers were forced to abandon the running game they take so much pride in. Terry Bradshaw still had Lynn Swann to throw to, but even that ray of reassurance faded when Swann was knocked out of the game by Pat Thomas. With a crippled passing attack and a sputtering running game, the Steeler Express wobbled into disaster. Twice in the 3rd period, Bradshaw was intercepted, once by Eddie Brown, and again by Rod Perry, number 49. The frustration that had played so much a part of the Rams season now belonged to the Steelers.
Time runs out in the 3rd quarter of play. 15 minutes of football remain. The crowd on its feet in the Rose Bowl. The score, the Rams 19 and the Steelers 17.
Experts tell us how long we live is in large measure determined by how we live. Example, if you live in a large city, subtract 2 years from your life. If you work behind a desk, subtract 3 years from your life. If, on the other hand, you exercise strenuously 5 times a week, add 4 years to your life. Admittedly, there's no exact way to determine life expectancy. Life is uncertain. And because it is, we need to protect our loved ones financially. If you're a credit union member, an excellent time to do that is right now.
I'm just 35, and I've got a wife and 2 small kids who count on me. So when I learned there was a special deal for credit union members, up to $50,000 of term life insurance, I phoned right away.
At 50, I'm a long way from retirement, but I'm no kid. Like lots of people my age, I didn't want to take a medical exam, and I didn't have to.
I'm 42, pretty fit, and part of a 2-income family. One of us just couldn't get by alone, so I called about $50,000 of life insurance for both of us.
Think about your age. and your family responsibilities. As a credit union member, you can apply for term life protection, the kind experts recommend because it gives you maximum coverage for your dollar. And you'll be guaranteed group rates, the lowest kind of rates. So don't just hope you'll be able to provide all the things your family needs. Make sure by calling now. We'll send you complete details of this exclusive offer and this free at-home longevity test to evaluate your own lifestyle. For yourself and those you love, call now.
If you're a credit union member age 18 to 59, call 1-800-228-3311 for information on this $50,000 term life plan and your free longevity test. That's 1-800-228-3311. There's no obligation. The information is free and so is the call. 1-800-228-3311.
Great teams aren't always great. They're just great when they have to be.
Bradshaw calls out the signals. Remember, Pittsburgh, the most dangerous fourth-quarter team in the NFL.
Now Bradshaw pumping, firing downfield. There goes Stallworth. He pulls it in at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and it's a touchdown for Pittsburgh. On the ball to Stallworth, and Stallworth beat Rod Perry. Oh, did he beat him? And the Steelers fire right back.
The pass to John Stallworth succeeded because of a mistake in the Rams secondary. It appeared as if Stallworth had simply beaten Rod Perry man on man. But actually, Perry should have had help from safety Eddie Brown. The Rams employed 5 defensive backs on the play. And Brown, the safety, was responsible for the deep middle zone. But when Stallworth raced through the middle, Brown ignored him and never helped Perry. Stallworth, who should have been double-teamed, outreached his single pursuer for the ball. After Stallworth's touchdown, the Steelers loosened up as though the game were over. Once again, they were wrong.
The lead changing hands 7 times, and the Rams hope that they have one more chance left.
I think we can throw on first down now. I think we could throw on first down, even drop back passes. Hey, Ray, you got to go to the end zone with it. You got to go to the end zone with it.
The Rams 86 yards away from the Steeler end zone, trailing by 5 points. Maybe one more miracle remains in their satchel in the 1979 season.
Okay, come on, Ferragamo, play action, you sucker!
Looking downfield, throws downfield, caught by Drew Hill and on a bound.
The Rams summoned up the heart no one thought they had.
Ferragamo tripped up, regains his balance,
and slowly fought their way toward the Steeler goal.
All right, that's it. We got it. We got it.
Here's the delay handoff to Colin Bryant. 45, 40, 35. He's going to the 30-yard line.
Fans who withheld their love for so long suddenly poured it out in cheers for a scrappy underdog who refused to give up.
Ferragamo puts him down. He goes. J.T. Thomas got him at the 39.
Why the hell didn't he audible in 97?
Wally in motion, far side, and Ferragamo going back to pass. He's going to scramble. He's going to run the 35, the 40, and down the 42-yard line. On first down, he looks downfield. He shoots it over the middle, long for Gennard. A diving catch at the 40-yard line. First down, Rams.
The Rams were on the verge of another score when Ferragamo made his first and only mistake of the game.
Ferragamo back to pass, shoots it over the middle. Intercepted by the Steelers. Lambert at the 15, the 20. Lambert still on his feet, cutting the middle of the field, and he's down at the 30-yard line. First interception of the game off the arm of Ferragamo, and for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it could not have come at a better time with 5:24 to go in the game.
Waddy was wide open, Ray. Waddy was wide open, Ray, on the post.
By day, the Rams' sparkling spirit had kept the game close. But by night, It faded into the black reality of the Pittsburgh Steelers mustering whatever it takes to win games when most of America is watching.
You're not going to throw high percentage passes against the Rams. Go deep and get the big play because they're going to take away high percentage passing.
Pittsburgh just wants to maintain possession, and it's a very big third down play. Nickel defense in for Los Angeles. Bradshaw back to pass. He sets up at the 23. He throws long down the center of the field for Scholes. He's got it at the 25 and down at the 22.
The first long pass to Stallworth had given the Steelers the lead. This one pointed the way to ultimate victory.
And now the Rams' hopes start to dim as Pittsburgh is on their way to another world championship.
By the Pittsburgh Steelers. Harris slices off the left side for a touchdown. Franco Harris slicing off the left side for a Steeler touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl 14 is history. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the champions of the National Football League for the second straight year.
Super Bowl 14 took its shape from the team that lost just as much as the team that won. The Los Angeles Rams earned a dignity in defeat which they had never achieved in victory. The Rams won respect, but the Pittsburgh Steelers won another world championship.
Nobody wants to need a lawyer, but believe me, if you're hurt in a car wreck, you do need...
It's a standing ovation, Pat. I'll tell you, these Giant fans have waited a long time for a championship game here.
And they the biggest. The Giants, for the most part, and their fans on the near side of the field. The Broncos on the other side. Giants are the home team. They'll be dressed in blue. And the Broncos dressed in white. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now meet the starting defense for the AFC champions, the Denver Broncos. From Mississippi, left defensive end number 61, Andre Townsend. From Utah State, the nose tackle, number 71, Greg Cragen. From Utah State, right defensive end, number 75, Rulon Jones. From William and Mary, linebacker number 50, Jim Ryan. From Minnesota, linebacker number 77, Carl Mecklenburg. From Arizona, linebacker number 98, Ricky Hunley. From Louisville, linebacker number 57, Tom Jackson. From San Jose State, left cornerback number 20, Louis Wright. From Michigan, right cornerback number 31, Mike Harden. From USC, strong safety number 49, Dennis Smith. From Tulane, the free safety number 43, Steve Foley. The head coach, Dan Reeves, and the rest of the Bronco players and coaches. Now the NFC champions, the New York Giants. The Giants out early. Giants, as is their tradition, the whole team comes out to welcome the starters, which will be the defensive unit. You can see them gathering with their coach, Bill Parcells, waiting to welcome. And that looks like the famous bucket in the middle of the crowd. From Oregon, the left defensive end, number 75, George Martin. From Miami, the nose tackle, number 64, Jim Burt.
Hey, man, get the fuck out of here.
From LSU, the right defensive end, number 70, Leonard Marshall. From Michigan State, linebacker number 58, Carl Banks. From Northwest Louisiana, linebacker number 55, Gary Reasons. From South Carolina State, linebacker number 53, Harry Carson. From North Carolina, linebacker number 56, Lawrence Taylor. From Kansas, the left cornerback, number 34, Elvis Patterson. From North Carolina State, right cornerback, number 23, Perry Williams. From Yale, the strong safety, number 48, Kenny Hill. And from UCLA, the free safety, number 27, Herb Welch. Head coach Bill Parcells and the rest of the Giant players and coaches. Super Bowl number 21 coming up, and we'll be back with the national anthem and the kickoff and the rest of today's action in a moment.
To know no boundaries, to let yourself run free. To know no boundaries is what the world should be.
Whether you're investing for your future or your children's future, our financial consultants can show you more opportunities than ever before. Because at Merrill Lynch, we believe your world should know no boundaries.
To know no boundaries.
I practically live out of a suitcase. So I always call 800-221-2222 and make the quality choice for great lodging anywhere. Oh, Quality Inns always gives me a big, comfortable room. The service is impeccable at Clarion Hotels. And Comfort Inn save me lots of dollars. Franks. Wherever you go, just call 800-221-2222 and you're all set, unless your luggage gets lost. This isn't Pittsburgh, is it?
You're on your way.
Kids and science can really get together in the right kind of place. So Dow has developed and funded the Touch Tech Laboratory here at Impression 5 in Lansing, Michigan.
In this particular experiment, we're going to take a solid out of two liquids.
It's a hands-on museum that puts the wonders of science at a child's fingertips.
Here you go, PJ.
And who knows what that could lead to.
Dow lets you do great things.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Dodge, setting new standards of performance. And by Merrill Lynch. To Merrill Lynch, your world should know no boundaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, here to sing our national anthem, Neil Diamond.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The coin toss coming up.
What'd you do to your car, Joey? It's really hot.
It's these new Sportline Performance tires from Michelin. They've got a super grip and really handle the curves.
I never knew a fat tire could make such a difference.
It can if it's a Michelin.
Joey, I think someone's got his eye on us.
I think he's got his eye on you.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
The house is paid up. Kids are out of college. Things are fantastic.
So what's the problem?
Things are not so fantastic. A financial genius, I'm not.
Very few of us are. We can help. At New York Life, we have the resources to make the most of your resources. We offer a range of financial opportunities, including mutual funds, annuities, and limited partnerships. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Get the most out of life with New York Life.
For a limited time, McDonald's presents Double Features.
It's back, but it's not alone.
The return of McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. Sizzling, unforgettable, tastes real good. And introducing double fries, a sensation, a masterpiece, a lot. Yes, that delicious double cheeseburger. Yes, a double-size order of regular fries. What more could you want?
Coca-Cola?
A Coke. Yes, if you eat only once this year, make it McDonald's Double Features.
Coming to midfield are Bronco captains John Elway, Steve Watson, Tom Jackson, Lewis Wright, and Rich Carlos, and the Giant captain Harry Carson. With us today to toss the coin is Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer Willie Davis. The referee for today's game, Jerry Markbright, will now conduct the coin toss ceremony.
For the visiting team, Captain Jackson, we'll call it in the air. The bases are heads, the trophy, tails. Willie, flip it. Tails is the call. It's tails. Denver wins the toss. You want to receive. Denver won the toss. They're going to receive. Good luck, gentlemen. It's a terrific game.
Again, the referee is Jerry Markbright. And the stage is set. Denver won the toss, chose to receive. John Madden, I don't know that there's any way you could hope for better weather, better playing conditions.
Well, I think that some of the big, giant defensive players would wish it were a little cooler. That was one of the things that Bill Parcells was worried about, that, you know, at the end of the season, they played back there in New York in all that cold weather, and he was worried about his team's cardiovascular conditioning. They said the one thing we don't want is a warm day.
Well, it's 77 degrees right now. It probably will cool down to the mid-40s by the time the sun goes down. But again, I guess when you play in those conditions, as they have back at Giant Stadium down the stretch when it was cold, you can run, but you really don't perspire or work out. You don't really get the same things done that you do in warm weather.
Well, and you don't even stay out as much. Now you say, well, how about the Broncos? And you always talk about that altitude, that mile-high altitude, that their cardiovascular conditioning, their endurance should be better.
Raul Alegre will kick off number 2. He was outstanding down the stretch. Gene Wang and Ken Bell, 33 and 35, stand back deep for the Broncos. Alegre gets it underway. It's going to be Lang at about the 1. Outside the 20, about the 23, knocked down by Tom Flynn. A return of 22 yards. John Elway, the outstanding athlete at quarterback for Denver. The defense he will be facing, a 3-man front, George Martin, Jim Burt in the middle, and Leonard Marshall, already introduced. 4 outstanding linebackers, Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor in the secondary. They play a zone. Patterson and Williams on the corners, Kenny Hill and Herb Welch, the 2 safety. Elway to throw on first down, comes out of the pocket. This is what they dreaded. Elway scrambles on first down, chased by Harry Carson, knocked out of bounds, a gain of 10. Close enough, I believe, they're going to have to measure. Here's the Bronco offense. Elway, the quarterback. Winder and Wilhite start when they use 2 backs. Vance Johnson and Steve Watson, the wide receivers. In front, Studdard, Bishop, Brian, Cooper, Lanier, and Clarence Kay, the tight end. They're going to measure.
It's an interesting thing. They brought Lawrence Taylor on a blitz, and he came on the outside, and John Elway ran right inside of Lawrence Taylor. He ran to the same side that Taylor came from and picked up the first down.
First down, Denver. That's the one thing you talk about on offense. You got to stop Joe Morris. You look at the Broncos, you have to contain Elway.
And then when he runs, you have to contain him. When he throws, you better have all those receivers. You better have those guys covered because he can pick it up and zip it to him.
Two tight ends set up now with Orson Mobley on the right side, lined up behind Kay, and Mobley on the move. Draw play, Winder. Nothing. Marshall there first.
Sammy Winder.
An assist from Banks. Taylor. They try to rip the ball
Winder
loose.
gains the one.
The one thing about the Broncos, they're not a big running team. They hardly ever run outside anyway, and against this giant defense, you're not going to get outside. This guy, John Elway, is going to pass. They're going to use that ball control passing game. And when they do run, it's usually inside with a lot of draw plays like that one we just saw.
We'll see a lot of those, I think, don't you?
I think a lot of screens and draws.
2nd and 9. Balls at the Bronco 35. Mobley again lets his Clarence play. This Kay this time on the move. Will Height tripped up. Gain of 2. Will bring up 3rd and long.
That's just what I said. You're not going to run outside against this giant defense. Watch Carl Banks, 58, coming from the outside. I think towards the end of the season, he's become one of the best players in the whole league. You can't run at him. You know, you say you want to run away from Lawrence Taylor. That's good, but you have to run into him.
Took a couple of years after he was their first-round draft choice, but you're right. He has really developed into an outstanding linebacker. Elway will operate from the spread formation this time. Jackson in Giant territory. Hit by Collins, but a first down Denver.
That's what John Elway was telling us is his favorite thing to do. Get in the shotgun, have his 4 wide receivers, spread that coverage out, and then be able to pick all these fast guys. Watch Mark Jackson here in the outside. He just turned Elvis Patterson right around. Patterson was staying outside. He got him out there, and he came to the inside.
Not a big guy, but great quickness. Vance Johnson split wide to the right. Watson to the left. First down Denver at the Giant 39. Elway back to throw. Winder in the middle. Stopped by reasons, but a gain of 5. That's what Elway was saying to us. I've got to be patient. If it's not there deep, I got to take it like this.
Well, let's take a look at it. This is the way it starts. Now we'll just let it go, and we'll look at the zone that Elway is looking at. It's a first down pass. We see, now, if we can stop it right here, you see, you got the 2 guys deep. You're never going to get out there, so he has to hit this underneath area in here. That's what that double deep zone looks like.
2nd and 5. Lang, one of the running backs, along with Winder. Winder with the ball. Stopped by Banks again after a gain of 3.
I think that Carl Banks went from being the other linebacker with Lawrence Taylor to being, hey, you better look at this guy, to being one of the best players in the league. I'll tell you, the games, the playoff game against 49ers, the championship game against the Redskins are the 2 best games I've seen a linebacker play.
And that would be Carl Banks. 3rd and 2. He got up, by the way, a little bit slowly after that play. 3 tight ends set up down for the Broncos. Off Winder. No gain. And on comes the barefooted place kicker for the Broncos, number 3, Rich Carlos.
Hey, watch, you're going to get penetration. It's going to be a trap play. We see 54, the guard pulling, and what happened is Banks got inside before Winder could get to the hole. They pulled Keith Bishop, and again, Carl Banks got the penetration.
There's the book on Carlos. Kubiak will be holding from 49 yards out. Timeout.
I think what happened...
Giants, timeout. Giants.
I think the Giants had too many men on the field, Pat. I think we see them there. See, they're trying to get 2 guys off. I think they ended up with 12 guys on the field.
That's right.
So now if they stay that way, then Carlos really gets a free kick. by taking the time out, then he still has to kick from the same area.
And we should write that down somewhere. They only have 2 left here in the first half. And those things, like missed extra points, in time seem to come back and have an effect on the outcome of the game.
Dan Reeves, I know, really didn't want to receive. We were talking to him yesterday, and he said, I would like to kick off and let my defense play first. In fact, when they played the last time, he said in the Meadowlands, he won the toss, and he elected to kick off.
Which really shocked me.
Well, I think it's that same thing, that he feels his defense is strong and can get him good field position. But here, if he could get this drive and get a field goal here, I'm sure he'd feel pretty good again. Because we said in 20 Super Bowls, it's only been done once.
This field goal is going to be somewhere between 48 and 49, closer to 49. With Kubiak holding, Rich Carlos. From this distance, he's 8 out of 14, and that's pretty good. He's going to get there. And it's good. The Broncos. Officially, it's 48 yards for Rich Carlos. And Denver leads 3-0. 10:51 left first quarter.
I'm a genuine bud man. I'm a bud man, yeah.
Tomorrow it'll be another game, and Foot Locker will be ahead of it in athletic footwear, just like today. Get it right for your body. Come to the Stripes.
Okay, but why Tandy Computers? In a word, quality. We do it all, from custom-designed semiconductors to the finished product. Tandy business computers are manufactured in our own USA plants. We test and retest and test again to ensure one of the highest standards of quality in the industry. And Radio Shack provides total service and support. I'm convinced.
Tandy Computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers. In business, for business.
With a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. Cheer up, you Monday morning quarterbacks. The season may be over, but Designing Women is taking the field next Sunday.
Eight plays, 45 yards. The Broncos kept the ball 4 minutes, 9 seconds. And the 48-yard field goal by Carlos ties the longest in Super Bowl history, which was held and set by Jan Stinnerud in 1970. Lee Roussan of the Giants at the 3. Roussan outside the 20 to about the 21. Knocked down by Rick Dennison. Return of 19. Phil Simms, the Giant quarterback, and the defense heel face. At least in the beginning, they make a lot of changes. Townsend and Rulon Jones, the ends. Greg Cragen in the middle. The linebackers, Ryan Mecklenburg, Hundley, and Jackson. And in the secondary, Wright and Harden on the corners, and Smith and Foley, the safety men. First down, Giants at their own 22. Lionel Manuel starting and split wide to the right. Sims going to work early. To Manuel. First down, Giants at about the 38. In front of Louis Wright. Giant offensive setup has Sims, of course, the quarterback, Joe Morris and Maurice Carthon, the runners. Johnson and Manuel starting wide. And up front, the group that's been together so long, Vincent Ard, Oates, Godfrey, and Nelson, and the tight end, Mark Bavaro. Bobby Johnson split wide left, and Manuel moves back in motion, and Sims is going again. Bavaro by Dennis Smith. Gain of 8.
Well, I like this plan of the Giants, Pat, is not coming out, not being conservative, not just starting out running your fullback or running Joe Morris. That's what they want to do. They want to come out, start attacking, start passing, loosen up the defense. Then when they get them loosened up, they get them off balance, then boom, you pop a Joe Morris in there on them.
2nd and 1.5. Stacy Robinson split wide to the left this time. Bavaro lines up on the right, manual move. And Morris gets the carry. Morris breaks into the secondary and gets down to the Denver 40, out of bounds there by Steve Foley. Picked up 12.
Now, the Giants are doing another interesting thing. The Broncos defense tries to put Mecklenburg on the strong side. That's the side of the tight end. That's where Mark Bavaro is, 89. Now, they have their weak side linebacker, Tom Jackson, there, 57 on Bavaro. They want Mecklenburg on Bavaro. The reason Jackson ends up on him is that Bavaro switched from the left to the right.
He's on the right again. 1st and 10. And Sims up top to Morris. Not much there. 3 yards by Jim Ryan and Lewis Wright.
What it is the Broncos think that Joe Morris runs to the strong side most of the time, to the tight end side, which he does. So they want to put Mecklenburg, number 77, on that side. They want to put Mecklenburg the whole game where they think Joe Morris is going to run. That's Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator. Watch Mecklenburg. He looks, he sees the formation, then he lines up on this side. But then Bavaro moves to the other side, and Mecklenburg's back here.
2nd and 8. Morris again. Out of bounds inside the Denver 30, but there's a flag down on the play. Foley chased him out of bounds. Morris got 11. But now they'll have a conference.
Looks like holding. It's the Giants, huh?
Late flag.
It must have been downfield holding. Most holding occurs in the offensive line.
Holding, number 89, offense, 2nd down.
And that was it. 89, of course, is Mark Bavaro, the tight end. We saw him earlier on the play hold Tom Jackson. Now watch him here. He's on the end of the line of scrimmage, again blocking Jackson. See, he had that right hand up there early, and he took him down there, and then the flag did come in later. I don't know, it's tough when you're wearing blue gloves and you're blocking a guy with a white jersey. Your hand on him is very easy to see.
2nd and 18. The Giants back at the Denver 49. To Morris again. Morris hammers down to the 41. Stopped by Foley. But he still got 8.
You know, it's an interesting thing. They have yet to get Mecklenburg to the side that Morris runs. You see, Mecklenburg is up on top of the screen. We can see it here. Mecklenburg is here. They would like him in here because this is where they want to run. But by switching Bavaro, they're getting Mecklenburg away from where they want to run.
Pretty solid plan. 3rd and 10. Tony Galbraith back in the backfield next to Sims. Now it's McConkey in motion. Sims to Stacy Robinson. And the Giants get their 1st down.
That was a good move by Stacy Robinson. Watch him, he's going to end up running it out. You see, he started to the inside, and he got the corner, Steve Wilson, to bite for the inside move. Then he went back to the sidelines.
So that makes it 1st and 10 at the Bronco 23. Denver leading 3-0. McConkey this time split up at the top of your picture. Johnson was the man in motion, but this is Morris. This time Ricky Hundley and Mecklenburg get the job done.
Well, like I said, Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator in the Broncos, wanted them to have to run into Mecklenburg. But by shifting the tight end, they've kept him away. But now Mecklenburg, they're running away from him. He knows they're trying to stay away from him. So he sees that tackle pull. Watch him, he just comes right down the line. Don't go where the back is. Go down the line where he's going to be. He'll show up there, you know?
This guy, they didn't think he was much of a player when drafted, Mecklenburg, but they couldn't keep him out of the lineup, and they still can't. Sims back to throw. Bavaro. And he's down to about the 5.5, a gain of 18. It'll be 1st and goal, Giants. He's stopped by Randy Robbins.
Mark Bavaro is so big and so strong and has such great hands. Watch him here. He's going to start to the outside, but he's going to run Dennis Smith up the field, turn him back to the inside of Robbins up the field, and then he just has that big body and those great hands.
He just sort of swatted the defender aside. It's 1st and goal from the 6.
He does a lot of swatting of guys aside.
It does. And carrying guys. And running over guys. Sims. Touchdown. Zeke Moat. From 6 yards away.
I was just saying, Pat, that drive is a Super Bowl drive. It's an all-star drive. Moat is the motion man. See him on top of the screen? He came across the formation, up the field, and then back across in the end zone where he originally came from.
Allegre with Jeff Rutledge holding. 7-3. Giants lead. So with 5:27 gone in the 1st quarter at the Rose Bowl, the Giants lead the Broncos 7-3.
McDonald's presents Double Features. He was hungry for money. He was hungry for power. But most of all,
Welcome to McDonald's.
he was hungry. Hungry for McDonald's Double Features. McDonald's Big Beefy Double Cheeseburger or a double-size order of McDonald's regular fries. A taste big enough to satisfy his hunger. But only available for a limited time.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick. Yeah. Whoa. The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick. Yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Come on, everybody. Milk's that kick. Health kick. Do that kick. Come on, everybody. Do that kick. America's favorite health kick. Milk.
To know no boundaries, to let yourself run free. To know no boundaries is what the world should be.
Wherever there are investment opportunities, Merrill Lynch is there with the help you need to make the most of them. Because at Merrill Lynch, we believe your world should know no boundaries.
To know no boundaries.
Top-ranked Iowa faces the tough-at-home Wolverines on Michigan turf. Then Syracuse and Georgetown in their first battle this year, next Saturday on CBS Sports.
The Giants 7, Denver 3. We're in the 1st quarter with 5:27 remaining. Giants took 9 plays in that drive. Sims was 6 for 6. And the touchdown pass to Moat. Allegre's kickoff goes to Bell. Bell with a little room. Bell almost with a lot of room. Stopped again by Tom Flynn, but a return of 28 yards. Allegre's kick short.
Phil Sims is over there on the sideline talking about that touchdown and about how he got it. Watch his motion. Here's Zeke Moat. He's going to come across the field of motion. Now the Broncos, this guy's covering him. When he goes in motion, this guy switches. Moat comes up, boom, beats him here, catches the ball for a touchdown. Watch him now. He starts there, comes across. See the switch in the Bronco defense? then up and in and touchdown.
Broncos go this time with one setback. That's Watson in motion. Elway fakes. Gets it out to Winder. Winder for the Giant 44. Stopped by Welch finally. And Harry Carson. But they gain 14 and get a Bronco first down.
That's that patience that John Elway was talking about. Go that play pass. Look deep, but don't throw it deep. Don't force anything. You see there, he's looking deep. Now he sees Winder underneath. You see the linebackers are deep. You see 53 Carson back there. Let him go back. Let 56 Taylor go back. Let them all get deep and then hit Winder underneath. Then if they start coming up on that, then boom, go deep.
First down, Denver, and Elway drops again. Fires outside, this time Mobley. Big Orson gets another Denver first down. Gain of 11. He weighs about 265 or somewhere in that area.
Or more. Number 89 is Orson Mobley there. He's only a rookie, but he's about 270 pounds. Dan Reeves said he was originally 256. Then they gave him a weight of 260, so he got up to 265. He said he looked a little slow last week against Cleveland. He said, so I put him on the scales, and he was over 270, and he's a tight end.
Still has not been an incomplete pass in the game. Sims 6 for 6 on the drive, and Elway just as efficient, and drops again. Gonna throw a screen. It's Winder. Knocked out of bounds finally by Harry Carson, but that's near another Denver first down. Gain of 9. They might be a little bit short. Flag on the play.
It's something out of bounds. It was a hit out of bounds, so it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. The Broncos don't run wide, but in lieu of that, they do a lot of that screen-type stuff.
That's Pepper Johnson over with the officials. And the discussion continues.
I think it looked like a hit, Pat, out of bounds, a late hit.
We have 2 fouls on the play on the Giants. Their fouls are being forced. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 53, defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct foul, number 56, for throwing the marker after the foul was called. First down.
Well, let's look again.
Well, here's the screen pass. There's Winder. Someone made a good block on Taylor. Now, that was the first penalty there. That was on Carson for hitting Winder out of bounds. Then the guy threw the thing, and Lawrence Taylor threw the marker.
And as Jerry Markbright said, both penalties were enforced, and so the Broncos are down to the 6-yard line, where it'll be first and goal. That was serious.
Well, you know, there was a lot. I think Lawrence Taylor got upset because he was the guy that was responsible for that screen pass, and he got knocked down, and that allowed Winder to get outside of him.
First and goal at the 6. Bobby Michaud with the right side. Elway not happy with what he saw, and Denver takes a timeout. We have 3:37 left to play in the first quarter. It's the Giants 7, the Broncos 3. Denver timeout.
We got style. We got flash. We got the diet. It's making us fast. We got juice when you got a passion. Diet slice, it tastes simply smashing. We got the juice. We got the juice. We got the beach. We got the juice.
Diet Slice with 100% NutraSweet.
We got the juice.
All diet, all delicious.
Diet Slice.
Seiko celebrates Super Bowl 21 with Super Gift Time 87. What a golden opportunity to give unrivaled Seiko technology. Fine Seiko design, detail, elegance. Starting tomorrow, participating authorized dealers are offering the most extraordinary values on a special collection of Seiko watches for the dates on your calendar that call for a special gift. Look for the Super Gift Pennant in the window. You'll find super buys inside.
Something's stirring, and there's no denying its energy. its arrival. This phenomenon goes by the name of Daytona. The brand new front-wheel drive Dodge Daytona. Be prepared for even more excitement per mile. Dodge Daytona. Dodge, setting new standards of performance.
Tonight, after Super Bowl 21, Hard Copy delivers the action.
The Slice blimp furnishing those pictures from above the Rose Bowl and 105,000 people. First and goal from the 6 for the Broncos. The Giants leading 7-3. Wilhite and Sewell now are the two backs. Sewell with the ball. Sewell cut down by Elvis Patterson. A loss of 3. And Carl Banks again with an assist.
I'll tell you, I would think the Broncos, they get down here. This is where Elway says he really doesn't like to be because it kind of shortens that pass area. They aren't a real powerful offensive team. And I think he would like to play pass here, but when you lose yardage and you have long yardage, it's tough to play pass. I think he's just going to have to go back and throw it in the end zone.
They're just really not a very big physical team. And I think you're exactly right. Elway thinks so too as he operates out of the spread. Middle. Inside to 5 to Vance Johnson. A gain of 6. And it'll be 3rd and goal from there. Stopped by Reasons.
There's Dan Reeves. And you see Gary Kubiak, number 8, is a backup quarterback who signals. The first thing they signal in is 4. That means 4 wide receivers. So this is going to be a spread formation. Then they signal in the pass pattern.
Since the playoffs began, this is the deepest penetration against the Giants. 3rd and goal from the 4, and the 4 wide receivers. Jackson goes in motion. Elway up the middle. Touchdown.
You can't give him a lane. That's what the Giants did. And that's what makes Elway so effective. He can not only throw it as strong as anyone, but you get the 4 wide receivers. You get that defense spread. Now he comes back. He looks for a hole. Look at that big gap. See, they just turn the ends out. The linebackers run out, and there's a hole like a truck for Elway to run through.
The center, Bryan, with an outstanding block. And the Broncos recapture the lead. 2:06 left to play the first quarter. Denver 10, the Giants 7.
I love you, little Jenny Catherine. I want to tell you something very, very important. Daddy got a raise. That means I can buy you a sandbox, sliding board. What do you think? You think we should put some of it away? What do you know about the stock market? I love you, little Jenny Catherine. Guess what? Daddy got a raise.
Managing information means storing it, finding it, and moving it from A to B. When that meant linking 800 miles of Alaskan pipeline, they called Contel. When it meant matching orders to inventory at the Stoneham Lumber Company, they called Contel. Small business or tall order, Contel can help you manage information better, too. For Contel, I'm Charlton Est.
Bring in the drafting table next. You know what it means to start your own business. A lot of work and some big headaches. But I don't take aspirin or Tylenol anymore. Today I take Advil. Fact is, Advil has a non-prescription strength of the medicine in the prescription brand Motrin. Doctors have already recommended Advil over 5 million times for so many types of pain. So today it's Advil. Business is tough enough. I don't want to compete with a headache. Advil, tablets and new caplets. Advanced medicine for pain.
Football's about over, so it's time to hit the greens. So why don't you join my friends and me at Pebble Beach, huh?
Denver 10, the Giants 7. Still in the first quarter. The scoring drive, 6 plays, 58 yards. Elway scored on a 4-yard run. Rich Carlos set to kick it off. Roussan and Hill back deep for the Giants. Roussan at his own 7. First by Robbins, down by Woodard.
Let's watch the touchdown again, Matt. Here's Dave Studdard. He turns out. Leonard Marsh gets that out there. Billy Bryan makes a good block on Burt, gets him going there, and this forms the hole for Elway. Then Keith Bishop leads through here in the linebacker. I got too many scratches in there. Watch the tackle will turn out on Marshall Studdard. Watch the center, Billy Bryan. See, he gets Burt going that way. Look at that big hole there. And then Keith Bishop leads him into the end zone.
10-7. Broncos lead. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 22. Sims again to throw. Again complete. This time Morris. Almost 30-yard line. Andre Townsend made the stop, but a gain of 7. There still hasn't been an incomplete pass.
I was just going to say the balls are being kept in good condition. There's yet to be a football hit the ground here. There's Bill Belichick. He's the defensive coordinator of the Giants.
One of the things you have to do to be a defensive coordinator is to learn to write upside down.
Write upside down and talk while you're writing, and then know what they just did. He's just diagramming to them what we just diagrammed.
2nd and 2 at the 30. Sims to Morris. Morris first down Giants. Woodard again on the stop. $17 points. Denver leading 10-7. That ties Super Bowl record.
There'll be a lot of records around here.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone says it's always a boring Super Bowl. It could end up to be boring, but it sure has a pretty good start to it.
Roussan and Anderson both in the game. Anderson is the lone setback, number 24. O.J. Anderson on 1st and 10. Anderson left side hit behind the line of scrimmage. Mecklenburg was first there, a loss of 2.
I think what the Giants are trying to do there was to maybe play O.J. Anderson a little more today, but use the halfback as a decoy and run the other back being O.J. Anderson. That didn't fool Mecklenburg.
Clock down to no seconds, and that's the end of the first quarter. Super Bowl 21, the Broncos lead the Giants 10-7.
Flight 124, fly runway heading to 3000, right turn to 270. You are cleared for takeoff.
Introducing DuPont certified Stainmaster carpet. Stainmaster gives you a revolutionary new level of protection against stains and spills that's better than any other carpet you can buy today. Because you never know. New Stainmaster from DuPont Carpet Fibers.
The National Football League salutes the United Way on its centennial. 100 years of caring. It started in Denver in 1887 when 4 clergymen of different faiths created the idea of one campaign to help many. The idea of helping has been passed through all these generations to you, the volunteers, the contributors, the recipients. See all that we've been and all that we can become. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by John Hancock Financial Services. Real life, real answers. Budweiser, the genuine article, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. No matter how far you go, Goodyear takes you home.
The NFL on CBS, Super Bowl number 21, the Giants with Morris left side and some room.
Joe Morris.
Morris hit by Tony Lilly. One of the things that the Broncos do is change the people around on defense, and the Giants say it doesn't have an effect, but it has to have an effect. You don't know who you're blocking.
Well, you don't, and you have to block different guys all the time. So we can see Fletcher's in there now, Gilbert's in there, Wilson's in it at cornerback, Lilly's in for Foley. They substitute just about everyone except three guys, and those three would be Rulon Jones, Carl Mecklenburg, and Dennis Smith. They're about the only three that don't come out of that defense.
3rd and 3, Sims from the shotgun. Up on top and nobody there. McConkey is saying, hey, they interfered with me, knocked me down. Bill McConkey jumped up and started waving arms, but to no avail.
Not only did he say that they knocked me down, I think he was giving the guy's number who knocked him down. Sims gets a little pressure from his right. But other than that, pretty good pass protection. So he can step up. You see Rulon Jones got there right at the end.
And so Sean Landetta comes on to punt. Freddie Gilbert back deep for the Broncos. Landetta had a great week in practice. Coming after it, but he still gets off a fine kick. It's Wilhite. He lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone, and the Broncos will start from their own 20. Mark Jackson was the man who put the pressure on Landetta, who nevertheless got off a 59-yard kick. But they'll bring it back out to the 20.
Hey, you talk about Landetta punting well in practice. How about against the Redskins in that championship game? That punt that he put down there on the goal line into the wind was one of the great punts that I've ever seen.
Bill Parcells was saying when we talked with him yesterday that in practice he had never seen Landetta better.
Well, he said the same thing about Phil Sims. He said on Thursday it was about as good as he's ever practiced. He told him, hey, save some of those.
Reed said the same thing about Elway. Lang, the ball carrier, pulled down by Lawrence Taylor for a loss of 2.
Yeah, that has to be a tough thing for an offensive coordinator, a quarterback, to call. You run one time, they start running at Banks. Early in the first quarter, they didn't make anything there. So we'll say, well, we'll run at Taylor. We'll put Winder on him. Taylor just pushes Winder down, boom, right to the outside. They got bookends there, and which end you want to run at is not a good deal either way.
2nd and 12. Denver up by 3. Mobley is the move man. All the way back. Incomplete. Intended for Mobley. Elway under pressure from Leonard Marshall.
Let's watch Marshall. Now he's in what they call a reduced position. He's the second guy up there, number 70. He's not over the end. He's over the guard. He works to the outside, taking 2 guys. He starts on the inside, works to the outside, and then Taylor comes inside. So Marshall got there, and Jim Burt was also there.
3rd and 12. Elway wants somebody to move. Motions in that direction. Back to throw. Comes out of the pocket. No question about his arm, and he's got a man. Vance Johnson. Inside the Giant 30.
You know, John Elway has a great arm, one of the greatest arms he's probably ever thrown a football, but he scrambles for 2 positions, for 2 reasons. 1, he scrambles to get away from the rush, and 2, when he has no one open. He feels the rush here. And you see, this is what he's looking at. So he's going to run out here, buy some more time. Now he's going to get deep. He said that he had to stay patient against the zone, but when he can run, then that zone breaks up, and he can get a speed guy like Vance Johnson deep. Hey, there's Lawrence Taylor being picked up by Keith Bishop. Bishop gave him a wrap around the neck, and then center Billy Bryan came off to help.
Winder and Lang. That was a gain of 54 yards from Elway. Back to throw it again. The screen pass to Winder. To about the 22. Stopped by Pepper Johnson. A gain of 6. Harry Williams with the assist. That's the thing that they had to do. They do it.
And they do that well. It's one of the things that if a defense gets deep in the zone and gives you that loose zone, then you can let them get deep, throw the screen pass out to your receiver, get the lineman out in front, and get a pretty good run at it.
That's the book on Elway, and that's pretty impressive. 2nd and 4. 11:49 left to play in the first half. Elway semi-roll out right. Chased by Marshall, throws back across the field, just threw it away. Leonard Marshall looking in his eyes.
Well, that's one of the things that the Giants want to do when Elway goes out to the right. There, you see that signal there? That was Mo for Mobley, meaning 89's coming into the game. And there he is. You know that deal where he puts his hand, it's like the Three Stooges trying to block the 2 fingers in the eyes? That means Mo. And Mo means Mobley.
And Mobley's a big package.
That's a 275-pound Mo.
Elway is 8 out of 10. Vance Johnson on the move, but Elway retreats. Here comes the blitz. Elway unloads. And it's Mobley, and he struggles for enough for a Bronco first down. Pepper Johnson on the stop.
You know, when you get a big guy running across the field, as a quarterback, you can't miss him. Watch, he uses the umpire. He runs right at the official first, then right across the field. Now you got that big target, that 6'5", 270. If you can't find him, you can't see anything.
Stopped by Herb Welch. Dan Reeves was saying to us yesterday, the guy's got a lot to learn, but he's really going to be something. He already is.
I think the way he receives the ball, he's going to be a superstar receiver. He really is. He's a new dimension. They don't have guys that weigh that much out in the open field.
Watson was the man in motion. Gene Lang straight ahead for 3. Stopped by Carson.
You know the Giant defense has been so effective, and of course they were highly favored in this game, but I don't think anyone told Dan Reeves or John Elway about that. They're just going out there and playing them like they're just another group of guys.